question related to trauma release. How to work with it if there is a strong sensation but no memory of the particular situation that caused it. Thank you, Lisa. Yeah, that can often be the way, and I think that sometimes it's a collective memory that you have. Like for women, like a lot of women, sorry to bang on about women issues, but collectively I think that women can have a fear of men and a fear of patriarchy, and that's not a particular memory or a particular situation. And we're also getting traumatized like all the time by things, by new situations. And you know, they might never go. Like I know that I've got traumas in my body that have never actually left. They still have a tendency, you know, if a situation comes up that's related to that, it still comes. So I've never fully got rid of, like some of them totally have gone. So it's also being flexible as to what the human is. You know, like with Khaleesi, I always take it back to Khaleesi. Little eyes opened. You know, I've traumatized Khaleesi so many times, I don't mean to. One is that I'm a very clumsy person. It could be that I'm also dyspraxic as well as dyslexic. There's some connections in the brain and my movement and with sounds. You know, they name it as these things, but we don't know. That doesn't always work. And I can't always perceive the distance towards things. And so I traumatize Khaleesi by dropping things. So if I can tell that if I'm carrying something, she's already cautious. She's already like away from me. You know, and there's so many times that I see her like repeating traumas or getting stuck in traumas. And that's part of being an animal in this life. Like maybe as we get older, we get more, you know, like I don't think I would do the things that I did when I was in my 20s now, after I know more about life. And maybe that's something that happens with experience as well. So it's also just being flexible with it in the mind and not having expectation. You're just kind of dealing, like, so when I say releasing trauma, I'm just kind of dealing with the moment. I'm not concerned about whether I experience it in 5 years or in 2 years. I'm just releasing it in that moment, like so if I'm having a traumatic memory come up about something. And then there's lots of things, like I think that all humans, so men and women, have this collective fear of being kicked out of society, that if we do something bad, we'll be kicked out and we'll die. So there's all different types of fears that we have, and then they're all specific to particular body minds. And it's just like a constant openness to it and knowing that it's not true and that it's not real and that it's simply experiencing happening. And it's not who you are, it doesn't define you, and that isn't happiness or unhappiness. Lately, a lot of overwhelming shame shows up and it feels very old, but I don't remember past events that created it. Yeah. So in Ramesh's teaching and Roger's teaching, these are both teachers that I spend a lot of time with, and you could say were my teachers in the human world. as opposed to the animal world. It's all the same funny things. So Ramesh would have said that the cornerstones of doership are guilt and blame, and they're in opposites. So guilt is the internal one and blame is the external one. Shame and pride, and they're opposites as well. And the difference between shame and guilt is it's like about what other people think of you. So whereas guilt, you feel guilty because you did something. Shame is the concern of what people think about what you did about something, which are very similar and they're interrelated often. And pride is like the opposite to shame. It's like, look what I did. And he would say all of those are claiming, like they all say, I'm a doer and it's me, and they come from doership. And the other one is expectation, like an expectation of the future. And I think it's really nice teaching. I think with every teaching, like don't take it too true. Like in like a sense, there's always going to be a sense of, like there'll be a sense of guilt if you run over someone's cat. Like it's not like you're going to be like skipping along like, woohoo, I ran over someone's cat. Maybe if you're a sociopath or if you like that type of thing, but most people will feel this sense of remorse or guilt. And also the same, it's appropriate to say you did this and you're responsible for it in certain situations and it's your fault. So, but you can also see how most of the time these 5 feelings are really exaggerated and it's something that the person is continuously obsessing about. And it's even one of the other. It's like in a story about how proud it is, how wonderful it is, how an asshole it is, what a shit it is, feeling bad about something, blaming another about something, or expectation of the future of what's coming. So you can see that the mind or the person or the separate person is predominantly obsessed with all of these and they create other ones. So the expectation creates stress or anxiety or worry. And they lead on, like they spiral out into all these other feelings. And so shame is a big source of doership. So you're the doer, that you're someone separate that does things, and then you feel shame for what you've done in life. And it could be a collection of lots of things, or it could just be a collective shame of your parents, your grandparents, your great-grandparents, of humans, collective shame of what people think about you, the ways in which you've behaved, and it's seeing that none of it really matters. So you have this shame about what you've done or where you're going, and none of it matters. What really matters is what's happening. Maybe you've done something wrong, and maybe you have been an asshole, and you can repair it in some ways, but in the end it doesn't matter. What matters is this moment, always this moment, right here, right now. And in this moment, you could say there is no shame. That consciousness doesn't feel shame, doesn't feel guilt, doesn't feel anything. It's free, it's watching. It doesn't feel constricted to any of those feelings. And it's not a thing, and that is your freedom. Whereas in the personal world, the shame and the story of you is so important, but to consciousness, none of that matters. And in the human world, you think the solution comes from doing something in time or getting to a place in time. But that's not true. But if that feeling is really strong and you're really like caught in that feeling and feeling very small and identified, and there's no connection to that which is bigger, the consciousness, then you can feel the shame in your body. You can feel where you feel it. So maybe in your heart. And then you can just get down to the source of the feeling, or thoughts, which might be, I'm a terrible person, I'm a terrible person, I'm a terrible person, everyone hates me, I'm a terrible person. And just allow that to be. Then you can ask it what it wants. Maybe you can imagine someone coming in and telling you how wonderful you are. Or like some fairy godmother coming in and magicking, like disappearing life events or something. Whatever it gives you that open, expansive feeling. Thank you so much for your question, Deanna. Hi, Carmela. Dear Lisa, I have another question. How much importance do you attach to physical activity? I am in good health, but I am not very active. Is it important for a seeker? It's not important for getting home. Like, home is beyond the body, it's beyond what you do, it's beyond everything. It's here, it's right now. It's not attached to anything. It's just here. It's so free. Thank you, Deanna.